Hi, everyone. Welcome to Masterclass 2025. My name is Plamina, and I've been with ClickLearn since January 2025 as support team lead, and I oversee our support teams across Denmark, the US, and India. I'm very excited to be part of the Masterclass this year and share today's session with my colleague Morten, who will also introduce himself now.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Planana. Yeah, my name is Morten. I'm from the ClickLearn support team. I've been with ClickLearn since 2018. So I've been through a lot of different times here, and it's been very exciting and still is. So what we'd like to talk to you today about is troubleshooting and escalating with connectors. And Plamina will tell you a little bit more about that. Take it away.
Thanks, Morten. Without further ado, let me share what we'll go through in this session. As we all know, ERP systems are updated frequently, sometimes once or twice a year, sometimes even more often, depending on the vendor. And each time a new version comes out, the way fields and navigation are structured can change. For ClickLearn, this means that the connector we use to capture data must be adjusted to the new version in order to continue working correctly. So, in this masterclass, we will show you why ERP updates affect connector performance, how recordings from an older ERP version behave differently compared to a newer version, what happens behind the scenes when you escalate an issue. I bet everyone's excited to hear about that. How long fixes usually take and how they are released. The goal is to give you clarity on why connector issues happen, how our team resolves them, and what you can expect during the process. And now, to make this more practical, I'll hand it over to you, Martin, um, and he will demonstrate how an older ERP version compares to a new one and how navigation changes can impact recordings. Take it
Thank you very
away.
much, Plamina. So I have prepared two recordings from finance and operations specifically, and one is from a finance and operations version in 2018, so it's quite old, right? And the other one is from 2025. So let's have a look at the older one first, okay? So I'll open this one up and I'll search for validate because we need a recording called validate customer info. Now, when you look at this fairly simple recording, you see there is some navigation. We click on the navigation button and we go to retail, and then we navigate to all customers, and then we go back home, right? So we're just clicking a bit around. So Microsoft, specifically for Dynamics, what they often do is that they have two waves a year. They have a spring wave and an autumn wave. So there's like the major rollout. And that wave may affect how different things are placed in the UI. So how different things are placed here, which submodule goes in which groups and in which workspace, or like the names of things and stuff like that. It might even change some of the positions of the buttons and things. And so all this overlaying the navigation, that is what can sometimes mess up a replay. So in order to tell, let's say I just had this recording, right? And I'm going to open it up and I look at it and I'm like, I don't really know what version this is from. What I can do is that I can hold Control Shift and then double click on one of the steps. And then I can tell in this case, this is from AX7. So that's finance and operations. And then it's from year 2018. And then it's build number 243, because 243 is the day number, right? So that's sometime in October. So this is from October 2018. That's how I can sort of see it. So I'll click on the module and I'll go directly down to retail, right? So let's have a look at the updated version, and then I'll show you what happens if I attempt to replay this on a modern system. This is 7 years old. This will probably not go very well. We'll try it out. Okay. So let me just show you the new one. So you can do the exact same thing for the new version here. The first step is where I click on modules. You'll see it also has a different icon now. It's changed. Some of the colors have changed, of course. You can choose that in the theme settings, but I don't know if this is even available back then. I think this is definitely updated, right? And here you can see this is from 2025 and day 40. So that must be February, right? So this is from February 2025. That's how you can see it. For some applications, you'll see something else. For example, for IFS Cloud, you'll see a version number and a revision number instead. So that's a little bit different. And IFS is updated very, very frequently. So you will see that change a lot. And then when you look onwards, you can kind of see like where is the button located on the system and what is the ID of the button and stuff like that. What is the name and the language we're in now? Like this is called modules, stuff like that, right? So if I change language, you'll see this also change, depending on if I replayed it or not. I believe this has been replayed in German. I'm not sure. No, it has not. But if I had, you would see it. So let's try for fun replaying the super old version, and you'll see what happens.
Drum rolls.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm gonna go ahead and replay, and yeah, we'll see how it fares. Okay, so it found modules, and now it goes to something called consolidations, right? So it clicks on the wrong navigation item, and that's fair. Now it's gonna look for all the link called all customers, which is of course not available on this form. So it will fail, right? Which is fair. So it clicks on the wrong thing. And this is a result of the UI being updated and also being 7 years old. So yeah, there is an issue there.
So Martin, is it fair to say that if a customer, depending on the whatever ERP system they're using, if the field is not captured correctly or or during replay, or if the field is showing something else, does that indicate that the ERP has been updated and there's our connector needs to be adjusted?
So of course, for future versions of let's say 2025 Wave 2, that's probably not out yet. So let's
Mhm,
say, I don't even know if it's out. Let's say it's not out yet. If someone has specific beta access to that and is
mm,
able to mess around with it and play with it, then they might contact us here at ClickLearn and say, hey, ClickLearn cannot replay this. What's up? And
mhm,
we'll say, well, we don't have it. We have no chance of making ClickLearn understand the new version. So yeah, we're not able to update the connector for it.
mhm,
The cool thing about ClickLearn and the web connectors, so for web-based applications, is that usually, right, we can just push out directly from the API. So if there is an update, we can just push it out through the API here, and you'll get it directly in your browser. So you don't need to ClickLearn doesn't need to be updated as such. You don't need a new version, anything like that.
mm,
You just need to click here and then click clear data. So if I had any data to clear, that possibility will be there. You may also sometimes be able to see like which date the connector you have is from. Then you can then clear it, right? So this example we had over in ClickLearn here, where it's unable to navigate, that's typically the main thing you'll see. But when you start
mm,
playing around with data, so picking items from tables, creating new contacts, like doing the actual meat of the process, that is typically fine. Of course, if your data is in order, right? That's a database issue. So if you're selecting a specific customer, but that customer has since been deleted, or you have changed the properties of said customer, you would of course need to update your data layer in ClickLearn, right? So coming as the data editor, and then adjusting your data accordingly. Now, this recording example here is just pure navigation, so there's nothing, right? So likely when you replay, you just need to help it re-navigate, and then the meat of the recording will probably be fine in a replay scenario. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you.
Got it. And what about the ClickLearn version? Does that, if, for example, a customer is recording in an older ClickLearn version, will that have an impact also on the replay?
So some features are just we need a specific version to fix something, right? It could be that you have a specific dropdown somewhere that you need a new ClickLearn version in order to support this specific action in the system. It's not everything we can update with the connector from the API. That's not possible. Some things are just native to the application itself, and you would typically be asked to update, right? Um, I can quickly show you how you can see your version. So if you come into
Please
ClickLearn
do.
here and click on your profile ID down here and click on check for updates, then you can see which version you have. Right, I'm on 160. And if you want to know what's new, you can click on the question mark instead and click on what's new. Then you will be met with of course just the written release notes, as well as our new video format where we dive into what's actually been fixed and we talk a bit, go more in depth about everything, right? So yeah, we've been trying to do that for the past few updates, to make it a little bit more engaging and easy to
Mhm.
understand, because some of this stuff just doesn't really might not make sense to everyone. So when we explain it in the video and show it, it's hopefully a bit more engaging to watch and easy to understand. Yeah,
I'm sure it is. I, for one, love them, those video notes.
good to know.
And thank you so much for the demonstration, Morten. It's been a great segue for what I'm going to start talking about now, which is what happens behind the scenes when you escalate an issue to ClickLearn. And as you saw, for example, if your replay fails or if there's another challenge you're facing, we in support are the one who look after you, help you out, and resolve this issue. So I'm just going to go in a bit more detail in terms of what happens, how we work in support, and how we troubleshoot your issues. So our support is split into different levels, and depending on the type of the issue you're facing, our troubleshooting process can look a little different. The very first step that we try to always gather is get as much detail as possible. This could include the recording name, the project name, the ClickLearn version, as we understood, is quite important. The exact step where the issue you're facing is, and if there's any error messages that you're seeing. So once we have that, we are able to proceed with the troubleshooting. But in some cases, our team may suggest holding a meeting with you to capture the steps directly, which is very important because it allows us to see exactly how the issues occur and provide our developers with clear input to replicate the problem. If we're not able to reproduce the issue in our own environment, which happens sometimes, the next step is to request access to the customer's environment. This step is necessary to ensure we can successfully replicate the behavior and begin working towards a solution. So every escalation follows a structured process, collecting details, reproducing the issue, and ensuring our developers have the right input to address it effectively. This usually, once if we have this right from the get-go, we are a lot quicker at resolving the issue that the customer, that the learners might experience. Now I know you're all thinking about the next step, next question in your head is how long does it take to fix a problem and what are our resolution timelines? We all know how important it is. Um, we all know how important your work is and how frustrating it can be when you're faced with a blocker that prevents you from completing your tasks, right? And I can tell you that if we had a magic wand, we'd solve every single issue in a split of a second. But in reality, the business behind every business process, there's even a more complex back end, which doesn't allow us to just fix issues so quickly. And that brings me to the topic of our release cycle and our bug resolution timelines. So, how long does it take? It depends. Smaller fixes can sometimes be implemented within days. And as Morten said, when there's an ERP update and there's a navigation update in terms of the UI design, um, it depends how big the changes are in terms of the ERP layout. If it's small changes, it can take quite quickly, of just a few days to resolve this, but larger connector changes can take longer, especially if there are significant changes in the ERP. At ClickLearn, we follow a monthly release cycle for our system updates. However, what's important for us to distinguish is that connector updates are flexible and can be pushed independently, as Morten mentioned earlier. So you don't have to wait for the next system release. And what's also important to note hmm, is that connector updates can only happen once the ERP release is live. Again, emphasizing on what Morten said and just repeating his wise words. This ensures that we're aligning ClickLearn with the actual changes made and not introducing errors by trying to fix things prematurely. And also something that Morten touched upon at the end, and I'm excited to share going forward, is that our release notes will include information on connector changes as well, not just when system updates. So this way, you'll always have the visibility into what's been updated and improved, and you'll also be able to enjoy our lovely video notes. So yeah, I think that comes to an end of our session. I'm sure you're all very sad we're leaving. We hope it was very insightful, and we hope that you as ClickLearns will feel more confident when facing these kinds of issues. And remember, get in touch with us whenever you need help. You're not in this alone. We're here to guide you on this journey, making your business processes and documentation an easy and enjoyable task. Take care until next time.
Thank you.